welcome to another episode of Invested, where we discuss the ever-evolving world of the creator economy and our $17 million Regulation A crowdfund on Start Engine for Fanbase. I'm your host, Isaac Hayes III, and to my left is Noah Washington, head of comms and partnerships over here at Fanbase. And we're back, just the two of us this week. We had a lot going on, but we're back. So we had to, take a break from guests for a hot second, but we can hold it down together, right?
We can. Man, we had a lot of great things happen.
Yeah.
That, we're going to get into today.
We ain't need no guests.
Yeah, man.
Even though we love our guests. We ain't need them.
100%.
But we love them.
Man, this weekend, there was a lot.
Oh, so, okay, yeah. So let's talk about that. So in the ATL this weekend, we had Spelhouse.
Yeah, man. Ralph Lauren dripped out like it was all over the place, man.
For people that don't know, that is the homecoming for Morehouse and Spelman and Morehouse.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends graduated from Spelman and Morehouse, and my younger brother is a sophomore at Morehouse.
Shout out Kojo.
Shout out Kojo in the building. Was good.
Yeah, my sister went to Spelman. My brother went to Morehouse. I'm the only one who didn't get the idea.
Do you regret not going to an HBCU?
100%. I will say to anybody or any student out there who's considering college, 100% go to an HBCU. It is the biggest regret of my life. I went to Georgia State, which they call the honorable HBCU, graduates the most black people in the country. But yeah, man, definitely, do it. It's a huge part of, I think of any black academic or any black professional's life. I did go to the STEP show and just seeing the energy, we always talk about the prestige that those institutions have, but you should just go to have fun and be in a safe space.
I used to go to the tailgate, then they started charging. I used to fly my drone at the tailgate. I used to fly my drone, used to walk the strip. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was fun. It's so much fun.
They allowed drones?
Yeah, I used to fly my drone all the way down like the strip. I got footage of that. I'm gonna show Kojo that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was nice. It was because it was like it's so many people.
That's crazy. But you know what I'm thinking of? Mm-hmm. I mentioned Ralph Lauren a minute, and I'm just gonna make this as a little note, right? Mm-hmm. They did their Spellhouse collection, and since this podcast is about finance, I just wanted to note that it was reported that Ralph Lauren, as of June 28th, 2025, had a record revenue year at $1.7 billion, up 14% year over year, driven across several different demographics. And if we all remember, that's around the time that the Oak Bluffs collection was announced. It was coming out. So once again, showing that the black spending power is awesome.
Let me tell you, I've seen that collection all over the city this week.
Oh, yeah.
I went to a few there are a few functions on the roof. Shout out to Retreat by the Gathering Spot. There was a Spellhouse event every day. There was a Spellhouse event Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I saw the Ralph Lauren collection all over. So it's good to see the pride of people wearing that. You have part of the collection.
I do, and it's awesome.
I think Kojo has part of the collection as well. And yeah, it was good. It was good to see. But I love the energy. And then shout out to Clark's homecoming this week.
Isn't Brandy?
Now, hold on. Let's figure out who's at One Music Fest.
Yeah, Jasmine Sullivan, Chief Keef, Wale, Jagged Edge,
Future, the Dungeon Family, Leon Thomas, Ari Lennox, Mary J. Blige, The Root.
Ludacris.
Yeah, it's the 25th anniversary of Ludacris. There's a huge party this week for that.
The Dungeon Family reunion.
I just said that.
Oh, you did? Kalani, yeah, I was right. Kalani.
Busta Rhymes.
Ari Lennox.
Yeah.
D-Nice.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Shout out to One Music Fest.
Yeah, this is the largest black music festival in America. So shout out Jay Carter and the team.
Oh, Future.
Yeah, I said Future.
You said Future? All right.
Future.
My bad.
It's popping. Atlanta's always popping. In the fall, because it's always like this. It's always like, it starts with Invest Fest, and then it's like Forbes Black, and then it's, and then it's like Labor Day, and then it's something else, and then it's like Homecoming and One Music Fest, and before you know it,
Oh, and shout out to the local talent. Domani's performing. Jalen Josie's performing.
Oh, dope.
Shout out to them.
Awesome.
We're going to kill it. But also, getting into the meat of the show now, Something else big happened this weekend.
Wait, we didn't tell them why we're here.
Oh, you're right.
You're supposed to do your thing.
No, okay, let's restart. Yeah. Sir, why are we here?
We're here to talk about what happened in the world of the creator economy, but also plug our $17 million Regulation A crowdfund on Start Engine, which closes December 17th.
Yep.
You can invest in Fanbase right now by going to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. The minimum is $399. It gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $6.65 a share. Plus, recently added, every investor gets this bling. Andy will show it right now. This verification badge. Any investor, no matter if you invest from the minimum all the way up to $1,000, you get an investor badge, because we're really pressing the importance of ownership, and I want people to know who believed in Fanbase from the beginning, all the owners. So even if you previously invested in Fanbase, for the minimum, you get this investor badge, because we're going to let the world know who believed in Fanbase before Fanbase was the thing it is becoming right now. Yeah.
So let's get into it.
All right, let's go.
So this weekend was also another important event in the U.S. and world history.
Yes.
This weekend was the No Kings protest.
Yes.
PBS has cited it as one of the largest single-day mobilization and demonstrations in U.S. history, only being compared to when Donald Trump came back into office. Millions of people across the country took to the streets across more than 2,000 locations to voice their opposition to what many are seeing as rising authoritarianism. Oh, sorry, let me restart that. As rising authoritarianism? Man, I'm losing my English.
There we go.
Across the United States under Donald Trump's administration. But beyond the headlines and the aerial photos, something else reportedly stood out to a few people watching, which is the lack of representation across African Americans and millennials. That's something that you had said during our pre-show conversation.
Yeah.
And so we're just here to talk.
I really see that many black people out there, but it's okay. If you're not out there, you're not out there. I mean, look, we all believe in democracy. We don't believe in kings around here. So that's a good thing about it. I think that the lack of I saw people out there, but I saw a lot more older people, and a lot more older people. Not as many black people. I know some black people that went. Shout out to everybody that went to the protest, and I think it's good to express your freedom to protest, your right to protest.
I remember you and I had a bit of a back and forth before this happened, and about the people we did see out there. But I think you actually made an even stronger point, which was who actually needs to be out there, right? Mm-hmm. Like black women, black men. We've already done our protesting. Even across 5 years, we have gone out into the streets between George Floyd and everything else happening in the state of the world. We have been there on the front lines, right?
Yes.
And honestly, I want other demographics and other people to take up the cause. Personally, I think most groups of people only start protesting right as the problem is happening, instead of doing it before it takes place. And I want to ask you, when do we say as black people, enough is enough, and let somebody else take their turn?
I think we've done that for the last year, especially black women. I think they needed a break. Yeah. I think they needed a good break, because they always show up to vote. They always show up to support. Black men showed up overwhelmingly too, even though, the media didn't say that they did. But here's a novel idea, which I get a lot of pushback from all the time, which I don't understand why. But how about this, Noah? Voting is the protest.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't understand. Every time we have one of these elections and it doesn't go your way, we out here protesting in the street, when voting is the protest. When we have like millions and millions and millions, a third of the country does not vote in every election. You know that, right?
Yep.
Like 100 million people don't vote that could vote. And then y'all be outside in the streets protesting over a president y'all don't want. We said Project 2025 was what it was. Nobody wanted to believe us. There was a lot of we were arguing if Kamala Harris was black or not.
Oh,
all this goofy ass shit.
So much BS, man. And even then, like even some of my close friends who I've since have distance relationships with now, as a result of saying that they didn't want to go out and vote for VP Harris. I'm like, guys, come on, what are we doing?
We'll see, but now we see what's going on with ICE, and we see what's going on in Chicago. We see what's going on all over. Matter of fact, that is something that we have to talk about, and we're going to talk about that in the other segment coming up. Yeah, but we have to talk about this, and it just brought something to my attention. But yeah, so protest. Look, guys, voting is the protest. I tell people. Matter of fact, let me have a little quick PSA real quick. So Atlanta, Andre Dickens is running for re-election. Don't let what happened in New Orleans happen in Atlanta, because I think 150,000 black people in New Orleans didn't vote, and now they mad about the mayor. But voting is the protest.
100%. Right? And don't think that even though Mayor Dickens is the coolest mayor in Atlanta's history, if you ask me, he does have opponents, guys.
Exactly.
It can slip away if you let it.
Go out and vote. Shout out our guy Sam Foster running for mayor of Marietta. And then shout out Marcy Overstreet, who's running for city council president in Atlanta. And go out and vote. Early voting has already started. Take your behind out and vote. Don't act like you got it in the bag. Atlanta always needs to hold up the legacy of always being politically astute and aware and active. And so we don't need to let that slip by. So make sure that you get your behind out there and vote.
It's early voting right now.
Yes, it's early voting right
now. So even if you cannot make November 4th, remember that you can go. Your time is now.
Absolutely.
So I want to refocus in on the No King. So you were speaking about the demographics of millennials and African Americans not being present. And there's a report that's showcasing that the median age who went out to protest was 44. What do you think might have discouraged younger people from going out to protest?
Probably that it doesn't necessarily, they don't necessarily see the effect of what this administration has on them right now. I think the farmers, the workers of America, people with health care, all those individuals right now, a lot of that stuff is going on. You know what I'm saying? Like with the government shutdown, all these things that are affecting large groups of older people. Like I said, people losing their jobs. That's one thing that is upsetting, is the amount of black women that have lost their jobs, and now black unemployment is up really, really high. But again, I'm always going to reiterate, I think that this election and what's happening hopefully will make voting a culture, a non-negotiable culture for all people in this country at this point. It's like we need to vote. We need to like you get up, you brush your teeth, you take a shower, you know what I'm saying, you kiss your kids, you go to work and you vote. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be that, because the way that they're shifting these elections around, and they Dominion got acquired by a Republican dude. The voting machine company that does all the voting machines got acquired by a dude. That should be illegal, but it's not. So
it's not. Let me throw some statistics at you that I just looked up.
Yeah.
So this is a report coming in from Axios, right? Mm-hmm. Specifically about the Washington, D.C. No Kings. 86% of people that they surveyed in D.C. were white, and 57% were women. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing that it's more
white women
who actually was one of Donald Trump's biggest voting blocks, who are taking up streets.
Don't look at me. Don't look at us. Like, don't even look at black women. Like,
and if we remember the conversations even that you and I were having back during election time, before Donald Trump was being elected, our theory was that white women were going to completely turn against him as a result of abortions and every other policy that was going against women that was being passed in the government at the time.
That didn't happen. But typically, a stat says that usually white women vote the way of their husbands. Is that kind of like a stat typically?
I believe that.
Like if the husband votes Republican, then the wife votes Republican or whatever.
Yeah, I believe that.
So I think that's also, I mean, in the white community, I've heard a lot about doing so. I mean, well, good for them. I think that again, this is also another wake up call again, because I'm really about to pop off real quick. I want to pop off on the Democratic Party so hard because I got a question. Let me ask you a question.
Really?
Who is the leader of the Republican Party right now?
I mean, easy, Donald Trump.
Exactly. Who's the leader of the Democratic Party?
There is none.
Thank you.
I don't believe there. I think the closest person we have is either a Gavin Newsom or maybe Jasmine Crockett. But even then, like, as we're gonna get later in this episode,
don't worry about that. We'll handle that.
We'll handle that later in this episode.
We'll handle that dude later. But yeah, there's no leadership.
Yeah.
And here's my problem. I don't understand real quick why, if you are on the side of the Democrats, if they gerrymander states, then we should gerrymander states, right? No, listen, we in a different point. You don't wait. So you think we can win this game playing by the rules when they threw the rule book out?
There's a saying I like. Just because an eye for an eye makes everybody blind, and so I believe in the Michelle Obama phrase of when they go low, we go high. Now, is it always?
I believe when they go low, we go lower.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm of the mindset of that because the consequences are too hard at this moment.
Yeah,
it's too much. Like okay, so prime example. This is what baffles me about that this moment we're in right now. Again, I just said that a Republican operative bought Dominion, the voting machine company. So where's the Democrat to buy a voting machine company too?
No, that's true. We are not playing at the same game at all. We're not. We're playing.
If they're buying X and True Social and acquiring TikTok, where's the Democratic who's supporting other platforms or building those platforms up? That's all that I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, we're definitely playing junior varsity, and they're in the NFL right now as it comes to how they reach their audience.
and they're using steroids.
No, and it's to always come back.
And they're paying the refs.
Exactly. To come back to our famous person.
And they're betting on the game and winning. Like,
they are.
They're doing all that
Donald Trump
shit.
is giving contracts to all his buddies.
Yeah, they running up crypto schemes.
He's even getting the back end reportedly on the TikTok deal.
Yes.
Which is insane for an elected official, by the way.
And we got Bernie Sanders and AOC and Jasmine Crockett and Gavin Newsom and Hakeem Jeffries.
Well, I'm gonna throw in Westmore too.
And Westmore. Okay.
But I mean, yes, I do believe the Democratic Party needs to change up how they operate.
Mm-hmm.
Our favorite person, Jasmine Crockett, even stated so herself. There was the realization, I believe, within the Democratic Party that what the current tools that they're using are just not effective anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Royce Mann, who's currently running for the Board of Education here in Atlanta. He is taking to social like a beast.
Okay.
And he realized, and part of the reason is, canvassing is not as effective, right? The genius of Donald Trump with True Social is that he was able to make a 24-hour propaganda machine that at any time anybody can turn to. And the Democrats don't have a platform like that now that most of these oligarchs own platforms and are bowing to the crown of Donald Trump.
I mean, look, I done said what I need to say about that. I think that I am of the mindset that all voices matter. I think you can have a conservative opinion and a liberal opinion. When we get to the far extremes on either side, which I think that's where Trump and the Republican Party, they Project 2025, we want to strip the Voting Rights Act and all that. We want to gut everything and put people back in slavery. And that's really how they feel about it.
Even Republicans, a lot of Republicans are turning to the Democratic Party because they believe they have a better chance of winning there. Jeff Duncan, currently running for governor of Georgia. Yeah. He's now running as a Democrat, and he has a very valid and great shot at winning the Georgia governor's race.
Yeah, but should we let him? No.
I mean, at any day, we had some great candidates, Stacey Abrams, Keisha Lance-Bottoms, people who could effectively run the state of Georgia. Jason Estevez, I'm a fan of. we have a whole bunch of people who could do the job. But I think when we're talking about politics in Georgia specifically, I don't think there's a lot of us that realize that Atlanta is an island, right, in a sea of red. And what's made that situation worse is one of the reasons Georgia won in 2020 was because of the influx of people who are getting film and television jobs coming to Atlanta. But now that those jobs are going overseas to the UK, we've lost a lot of that voter block as people have gone home and returned to their native states. So
I agree, but I don't think we should let Jeff Duncan in.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? You don't get to show up and claim Democrat and jump in front of everybody else. I want to run for governor now. Like, no, I mean, I feel your passion. I appreciate you, cuz like I think it's cool that you found the error in your ways and know that these fools is tripping about what they're doing. But you should run for lieutenant governor as a Democrat or something like that. Because no, let the people that let Estevez and Keisha and all these other people.
Listen, I'd much rather have somebody who looks like me win. But I think at the point in America, and you and I were talking about this post-election night, we are about to see, I believe, a resurgence of white male Democrats as leaders in this country for the near and incoming future. And personally, I'm at the point where I just want somebody sane who could do the job. You know,
cool.
I'm meeting the middle ground there.
We'll put a button on that. All right. Well, that was good. That was okay. So while Noah cues up our next segment, I'm here to tell you guys we are at about $13.5 million in our Regulation A equity crowdfund for Fanbase on Start Engine. Why are you raising this money, Isaac? Well, two reasons. One, we want to build and scale the greatest platform for creators and the social economy worldwide, and you need capital to do that. All the amazing strides that we've done at Fanbase still require capital to do that. But also we want to offer ownership. I want people to own this platform because the same oligarchs that are buying up all the platforms, they did these same types of deals, except this time it's the people. So rather than the oligarchs and the small group of people that are always invested in the Twitters and the Instagrams and the Facebooks and the TikToks of the world, we all collectively can invest in Fanbase and own it together. And that's a different approach to moving forward with social media. So I'm
actually very excited to talk about this next segment that we have going on. You and I have gone back and forth and talked about it a lot. It's OpenAI, or Sora, owned by OpenAI, agrees to stop using MLK's likeness. Let me set it up for you guys. So recently, we've all had fun playing with Sora, a new app by OpenAI, which essentially allows us to create any image or video that we've ever dreamt of making. We can put ourselves in movies now, making lifelike, super ultra realistic, lifelike motion video. One of the big points is that several people have made videos featuring Dr. Martin Luther King depicted doing unsavory things, such as going on talk shows like Deal or No Deal, wrestling, fighting Malcolm X. There's some of him fighting Adolf Hitler, right? Just using him in various capacities as people prompted. Dr. Bernice King, daughter of Dr. Martin Luther King, and over the MLK estate, recently made a petition to OpenAI asking them to stop, which OpenAI gladly adhered to and pulled back on the ability to use Dr. Martin Luther King, right?
Yeah. So let me jump in here first. So when I initially posted the video of Dr. King from OpenAI and they had him screaming and jumping down like a monkey, I caught a lot of flack for that, right? A lot of people were like, well, why would you show that? And I'm like, because number one, I want people to see if they'll do this to someone like Dr. King, they'll do this to anybody.
Yeah. Which
we saw Kobe Bryant, Notorious B.I.G., Malcolm X, Tupac. Who else? It was just a ton of people that we don't need to see. And the interesting thing that I thought about this whole situation with OpenAI is you cannot prompt OpenAI to create any character like that. So that means OpenAI put those people in there.
Yeah.
That means Prince, Michael Jackson, OpenAI was allowing those generations to be made, and then you be able to alter those individuals to do so. So the reason why I posted that is because I knew the reaction would spark the question, well, then why are we doing this? And so seeing that Bernice and OpenAI came to an agreement that they would pull him back and not let them use Dr. King, that is the reason why I posted that video. Because initially, I'm like, you bring attention to the subject, you make it something that people are aware of, and then when people express their displeasure for it, and it can affect business, and it can affect the way that OpenAI is perceived, then they have to change their practices. So that is why I did that, and it did exactly what it needed to do, because now you can't make videos of Dr. King.
And I think that was a genius play on your part. But one of the things, the bigger issue here is people don't know if they have rights to their name and likeness. When you're using a lot of these tools, and I wrote an open ed about this years ago when this technology was first emerging, when you click agree to use the tool, you give up your rights to your name and likeness to those platforms. A lot of people don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, well, but also you got to think people that have established legacy have a right to celebrity. So that's the number one thing that I talk about in dealing with my father's estate is you still have the right to celebrity.
Yeah.
And so if you have a name, right, if you have a likeness that people can easily recognize, so people know who Dr. Martin Luther King is, people know who Kobe Bryant is, and all these other individuals, you have a right to that. That's why I said even if there is not legislation to trademark anyone's name and voice, because celebrities can do it all the time, but regular people need to be able to do the same thing. Because I'm surprised at the amount of people that I see putting themselves, I haven't put myself into OpenAI. Yeah. I haven't put myself in Sora 2, and I'm not going to put myself in Sora 2, but I'm pretty surprised about the amount of people that have put themselves into Sora 2.
Well, most people don't know any better. Like, even then, somebody told me, and I did some research about it, and it's true. Mm-hmm. It's 100%. Like, guys, before you put yourselves on here, be cautious about it. But I want to touch on that topic because even last week, the name, image, and likeness goes, I believe, in further than that, right? So we were talking about this. My grandfather, Booker T. Washington, was used in the Madam C.J. Walker show, and there was a huge point of contention over how he was depicted, which was antagonistically towards Madam C.J. Walker, which was later disproven by their interactions. So my question to you is, when we speak about historical narratives of Black people, when do we take back control?
From the beginning, I mean, it's best we can, but it's also the ability for us to have control over those estates. Because you got to remember, the estate of Prince, the estate of Notorious B.I.G., the estate of James Brown, and the estate of Whitney Houston are all owned by Primary Wave, who are our partners. Mm-hmm. So it's also being able to keep that name, image, and likeness. You understand what I'm saying? Because I've seen Shaquille O'Neal's on OpenAI, and people are understanding why, are kind of confused as to why they see Shaquille O'Neal and Marilyn Monroe a lot together on OpenAI clips, because Shaquille O'Neal has ownership in the company that represents those brands. So the same company that manages the likeness, name, image, and likeness of Shaquille O'Neal manages the name, image, and likeness of Marilyn Monroe and Elvis Presley. So those estates have been sold. So again, it's always like in culture, I always say you got to be mindful of who you sell your culture to, because you think you're selling an asset when you're actually selling legacy, and you're selling, what people remember and know and what represents the person that was. I think it's highly disrespectful. I would never want that, even with Marilyn Monroe. I mean, if I'm Marilyn Monroe's family, I don't want her. I don't know if I want her and Shaquille O'Neal walking down the street acting like they're having babies. Like in some of the videos, like they're in love and they kissing. I'm like, why is Shaquille O'Neal kissing Marilyn Monroe? Again, you can make anything with these AI programs, but I don't know if I would want that, because then that's just not real. I mean, we're pushing the bounds of, I think the content creation space of OpenAI is ruining content creation, but I think there's going to be pushback where we're going to have a world where people just want real content. They don't want this BS that people are talking about.
Well, I believe in authenticity is going to be the name of the game, but let me ask you a question, right? In my case, public domain hit my grandfather of 100 years, right? Martin Luther King died in the 60s, so reasonably we're only a few decades out from him entering public domain. How do we get around the issue of when, for those who don't know, public domain is when a character or an image is entered into the public. They can then be used for practically anything. A lot of cartoons and superheroes are entering the public domain.
Mickey Mouse.
Exactly.
Stuff like that.
Batman and Superman in the next, I believe, 15 years are going to be in the public domain. So my question is, how do we as Black people get around people being able to use likenesses and images for their unintended direction?
I believe that public domain is going to end. For me, I think it should. I'm going to tell you why. Because of artificial intelligence. Because at that point, if AI can create whatever song, if AI can write every song that ever could exist, then what song could be written that is in public domain? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If AI can create every melody that ever existed, every rhythm pattern that ever existed, every lyric line that ever existed,
it can kill creativity.
Right. So I think that the assets that exist that are not part of public domain, I think they should become assets that are never allowed to be in public domain and they're owned in perpetuity, which is one of the reasons why I think a lot of times a lot of these companies are buying music catalogs, like the legacy catalogs. They're buying all these masters in publishing. I don't understand why people are buying masters in publishing to eventually have it be public domain. It's like people have bought land. Like, would you buy an asset that expires?
No.
Right. Like, why? Like, people don't buy land that expires. Well, and you own land, you own it. You buy something, you own it in perpetuity. So for me, I feel like they're going to lobby at some point, lobby Congress or lobby and then take it to the Supreme Court and then get rid of public domain because of AI, because that's too much people can control. But I want to, given this whole content creation, open AI thing, I want to call out Homeland Security because a TikToker called out Homeland Security for using a video of him to say that if you target ICE, we're coming after you. His video had nothing to do with ICE or anything. He made it months ago. So I'm going to read this real quick. So Homeland Security posted a video of a group of young Black men with the caption, "ICE, we're on the way. Word on the streets, cartels put $50K bounty on y'all." Homeland Security then captioned their tweet and said, "FAFO, if you threaten or lay hands on our law enforcement officers, we will hunt you down and you'll find out really quick." But they used the video of this young Black kid on social media that had nothing to do, that he posted months before, and altered it and changed the caption and made it about that. So they're taking an image of a young Black man and changing to act like he's been getting death threats. He's been getting people trying to harm him because our government took a picture of him, an image of him, and made him appear to say things that he never said. And that's ridiculously dangerous, and he should sue the shit out of the government for that, and I hope he wins because that's ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Listen, this Trump administration is crazy. They've been having a field day in the social media department, right?
Oh, yeah, they took a dump on you see the thing where he pooped on all the No Kings protesters?
Dog.
It's Donald Trump in a fighter jet with a crown on his head like a king, and he flies over the No Kings protesters and drops poop on them using AI.
The one that just made me so upset was somebody made an ICE video to the theme of Pokemon. Gotta catch them all.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, dog, this isn't funny.
Yeah,
these are people.
But this is the problem with, in the era that we're entering to with AI and how dangerous it can be.
I 100%. I want to go down this a little more, right? If AI companies have to get permission for every public figure, does that slow down creative freedom, or does it finally bring accountability to tech?
No, it brings accountability to tech. Yeah, you got to get. I mean, these companies are operating like with no rules. They're just taking your image, absolutely. And then when you do that, right? How do you create new icons, right? If we take our icons and turn them into caricatures of what they were, then how does that make the next generation of icons feel? Like if you just gonna take Elvis Presley and Marilyn Monroe and and Michael Jackson and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Gandhi and Einstein and just turn them into like memes. Like, bro, they didn't. Come on, these are people that are sewn into the fabric of world history and American history, and you shouldn't be able to do that. So I think it's accountability. I think it's time. I know as far as Isaac Hayes is concerned, I'm definitely going to do as much as I can to protect my father's name, image and likeness, his voice, things like that are really, really important, and we'll continue to do so. So,
you know, my final point to this is, you've said this years ago to me, and it's always stuck in my head. This next generation of icons, I don't believe are going to be iconic in the same way because social media has democratized fame. Everyday people are getting famous for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, even we all remember the Hawk Tuah girl. One moment came and went. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We know her if we see her, right? But what else has happened as a result that's memorable in our brains? You know what I'm saying?
Well, but that's because it can't be just memes. It's got to be based off talent.
Yeah.
You can have a moment. I don't have a problem. Like, it's social media. I love it. I mean, that's like we got Fanbase as a platform where anybody can become famous or make content and then be discovered in a particular way. But it's still we still want to give the respect to the people that, you know, do iconic things and do great things. And, you know, shout out to Kai Cenat, who is the Mount Rushmore of streaming. So I know that you know, I made a comment about that, but yeah, for sure. Again, one more time, I'm going to plug it all the time. Right now, you can go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. Anybody that invests in any round up to $1,000 gets the profile badge as an investor, the blue verification badge from 1,000 to 5,000, and 5,000 up gets the gold verified badge. We have a ton of gold investors in Fanbase. So go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest right now. The raise closes December 17th. We're going to $17 million, and we're already at $13.5 million, so pull up.
Let's do.
Yep.
Join the thousands already invested.
Yes.
Do you want to do the next one to lay the groundwork?
I want to set up. So I want to set up this next segment because I think it's really important. And what I thought was interesting is that we talked about this before, or I've spoken about, like, right now we're in an age right now where we don't know who is behind the content that we watch, right? So when you're looking at a platform like WorldStar and they're sending you all this content, please understand that WorldStar is not owned by anybody black, right? It's owned by a white company that also owns Genius, that owns DatPiff, that owns Kick, that owns a bunch of brands together. And so right now we're going to talk about Judge Faith and Kenny Lattimore, who are striking back because there are a series of YouTube channels that have posted defamatory content about them over the last few months, and they filed a lawsuit to stop this. So they filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles County against anonymous YouTube creators who allegedly published fabricated quotes, fake court documents, AI-generated audio and video, and monetized through clickbait targeting their family, marriage, and reputations. But it doesn't stop there. As I said, it's a part of a larger pattern of platforms that brand themselves as urban or black media outlets positioned to look like they serve black audiences. Yet in many cases, they are not. They're not owned by anybody black. In fact, in the video that Judge Faith and Kenny Lattimore were talking about, they were pointing out a couple examples of this one platform called Star News. And it's a black entertainment site. It's owned by a guy in Pakistan that posts defamatory content attacking black people. And another one called Black Tea, right? A YouTube channel that talks about creators. And they are owned by a Russian dude. And so I know we consume this content, but just because it looks like it's black owned doesn't mean that it's black owned. And we always had that conversation. Is Fanbase really black owned? Yes, we are. The cap table is very, very African American. I am the founder and CEO. It's owned, but you don't know who is behind worldstarhiphop.com. You don't know who's behind these YouTube channels that post this AI generated content that get tons and tons and tons of views that target black people and defame their character. And so research before you react. What I say all the time is there are bot farms. A lot of the people that you argue with online that say racist things and mean things, and it looks like it might be somebody black or something like that. It's like it's a bot, or it's somebody that is paid to comment and appear to be a black person, and they're not. And so you have to research before you react, because in doing so, you will not respond to a lot of this stuff. But we also need to crack down on these fake ass YouTube pages that are doing so.
The bigger problem here with specifically Faith and Kinney is that AI indexed all of these documents, right? So if you were to Google the information, some were saying that they got a divorce, all fabricated. But AI, Google, what is it? Google Gemini, it would say it's real. It would say it as fact. And so the bigger problem is the distinction or discernment between what is real and what is not for AI platforms. So you got to be really careful what you upload. Even ChatGPT and Claude AI will say that they make mistakes as a result of fake information uploaded. Because what AI is doing is it's pulling from the internet to give you the best answer possible.
And then these guys get to hide behind anonymity.
Yeah.
And then we don't know who's behind it. I've said that before. I actually when I in researching this today, I remember back in 2000, I want to say 21. No, was it 20? Was it 21? Yeah, it might have been 21 when I came at the news site in Atlanta, ATL Scoop.
Oh, right? I remember that.
Yeah, because I don't now. What I hear is that the company has changed hands since then, but ATL Scoop initially was not owned by someone who was black, and they were blackfishing. They were using black language. They were using black images. They were talking about crime and break-ins, and it was a propaganda site designed to make the former mayor of Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms, look bad and thwart her ability to try to run for re-election, or actually win re-election. So
I think that worked too.
Well, I don't know. I don't think that played a role in her not running for re-election, because her approval rating was very, very high. But since then, there are other platforms in Atlanta that are black owned, but I've never trusted. I've been blocked from ATL Scoop because as soon as we called them out, I got blocked. But again, it's just another thing that you're looking at these platforms and you don't know if the story's true or not, what's behind it, who's behind it, the agenda behind it. And so that's pretty interesting. But at the same time, again, you never know who is behind your favorite news site. So when you're looking at, I know that the Jasmine brand is black owned. I know that Baller Alert is black owned. I know that Butter ATL is black owned. I know that Spiritual Word is black owned. I know that the Shade Room is black owned. So I know the sites that I do know that are black owned. We can still support those sites, but some of these, you have no idea what these people are and who they talking about and what they saying, and they're not even real people, or they somebody in India, Pakistan, Russia, just catfishing, being somebody black, hyping you up.
It's digital age yellow journalism for sure. The first thing that comes to my mind is what vulnerabilities are now on display for black public figures as a result of this, specifically in the digital realm.
I mean, I think this is probably happening I think this is happening to every type of people. It's just that Faith and Kenny are handling it for black culture. But I think for any, public figure, the ability now to create content, especially with things like Sora, especially things like AI, fabricating divorce decrees. I mean, imagine that these platforms can fabricate drug tests, STI tests, arrest records, all kinds of stuff, put them up, clickbait. Google and YouTube are making tons of money off the advertising of the clickbait of people watching this content, and it's not even real. And that's the problem. It's like they're monetizing defamatory content against the people that whose lives he's affecting. So I think that's not good at all.
I think regulation is gonna happen. Something that I was reading the other day is that YouTubers will no longer be able to monetize off of deep fake movie trailers.
Good.
You know, using
Oh, yeah.
AI.
I'm
like,
so sick of those.
It's like, dog. Like,
If I see another Avengers Doomsday trailer, if y'all don't cut that shit out,
get us all excited.
oh my God.
Yeah, like, and honestly, that's the way it should be. You know, I think the industry that's at most at risk right now is the entertainment industry right now, because James Cameron said something over this weekend that I at least read over this weekend that I think is so true. In about 5 years, maybe even less, you know, the everyday person will be able to make blockbuster budget films straight from their home, teams of one. And I think, going back to your earlier point, I think authenticity is going to be
reality is going to matter.
Game. Yeah,
people are going to want actors to act in films. They're not going to want. I mean, there'll always be a half and half. Half the world's going to love it, like, yeah, I want to watch AI generated movies all the time, and the other half is like, no, I really want to know if that was Timothy Chalamet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If that was Jonathan Majors, if that was whoever the actor is really acting the role out that they did, because acting, art, is music, all these things are crafts that should be protected and upheld.
You know, something I was reading that hit the headlines the other week, in these last few weeks, is there's an AI generated actress named Tilly Norwood. You might have saw this. Who was there was discussion about her being signed by a talent agency. The agency was not disclosed to the best of my knowledge, and it caused some backlash from Hollywood and especially SAG-AFTRA, which just went bananas, as they should, because come on, guys, you know, let people do their jobs, right? The whole point of art and creativity is for the ability to be creative and to bring humanity to whatever project you're doing. And what's the point if it gets taken away? I want AI to do all the things I don't want to do. Laundry, cleaning, like, you know, I don't want them to create my art, which is on a base level an act of humanity in and of itself.
Correct.
I could even, you know, we often debate this. My favorite Isaac Hayes song is "Pursuit of the Pimp Mobile." Shout out to that song. But my point is like, I don't believe a computer would ever have been able to make something that awesome.
Right.
And so we got to really protect our folks, protect our people, go support the realness. If you heard Secret Invasion, which was made by Marvel and Disney, caught backlash because the opening credits were AI generated.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah, so more people are calling out for authenticity in the real world than what I believe most people think. But my question to you is, how will this affect the content creator? Do you believe we should be able to make AI versions of ourselves to create the content in which consumers and other users take part in?
Yeah, I think you should be able to do it if you want to do it. I just think that there will be a segment of the population that's no longer interested in seeing that content.
Yeah,
I'm already tired of Sora 2.
Yeah,
like for real. Like, I mean, I like all my friends, but I'm like, yo, I'm tired of seeing y'all make these AI generated videos of yourself that aren't, you know, it's like I'm just over it. I'd rather see, like, okay, if you're really gonna walk in a haunted house, then let me see that. If you're really going to ride a polar bear, you know, okay, really ride the polar bear. Like, I want to see the real deal happen in real life, because that's what makes content so great. Is the video that you see, like, yo, this fool snowboarded down a mountain with a bear chasing him behind. Remember, like stuff like that you see, like, it's gonna ruin like America's Funniest Videos. Remember, like, random moments that get caught online, like AI is gonna ruin that, because those are things that really happen in real time, and then now you're just rendering those things that's not really real, and I think that's goofy.
100%, man. I mean, you taught me when it came to content creation, simpler the better.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah.
Like, I used to have the belief that things needed to be Lord of the Rings.
No.
When you could just really just vlog it, and it has just as much as a chance of getting views as anything else. Like, what were we talking? I wish I can remember the exact thing, but I believe it was some movie earned less than a creator did, and I was like, oh yeah, they probably did it for a third the budget. So
100%.
I mean, you know, that's it. So,
all right. Well, we're gonna hop into this last subject, because we might go over time today. Just to let you know for what we about to talk about. So we're gonna dive into the world of politics, but specifically one individual who has started to make their way into the political space in a way that I think is divisive, it's controversial, but I also think it's corny, and that's Stephen A. Smith. So Stephen A. Smith, who everybody knows from ESPN, that's been doing sports commentary for years, over 15 years minimum, like 20 years minimum, has recently started to speak his mind in the world of politics. It is a podcast on SiriusXM. But here's what Stephen A. Smith had to say about Kamala Harris and then Jasmine Crockett and then Bakari Sellers after he responded about what Stephen A. Smith has had to say about Kamala Harris and Jasmine Crockett, and we'll come back.
Jasmine Crockett or somebody like that. Ladies, I respect intelligent women, no doubt. But how Jasmine Crockett chooses to express herself, I'm like, is that going to help your district in Texas? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? How much work goes into that? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work. Work is saying, that's the man in power. I know what his agenda is. I'm not exactly in a position to stop him since the Republicans have the Senate and the House. But maybe if I'm willing to work with this man, I might get something out of it for my constituency. But what Bakari Sellers needs to recognize is, why don't you tell what the truth is? Why don't you speak about the level of resentment that you really, really have? That the American people are more willing to listen to somebody like me or the others that you mentioned rather than you, who's been doing this for years out of South Carolina and then some. Nobody care what you have to say. I'm giving you pub right now by talking about you. You know my number. You could have reached me a long time ago. We could have had discussions a long time ago. The only time you ever reached out to anybody is when you wanted to sell your book. You bought and paid for on one side. Don't even want to hear what the other has to say, but you talking about me. Sit your ass down.
Hearing all of that, right? First things first, who are you to even say that anybody's career is over in politics yourself when you don't know politics yourself? And I'm going to speak directly to Stephen A. Smith, because here's the problem that I got with you, dog, is that you're talking very, very big on platforms that you don't own, and you're saying that they're your platforms. So the first thing I want you to remember is, if they'll cancel Jimmy Kimmel, they'll cancel you. It's the same company. It's number one. Two, you don't know shit about politics, so stop talking about politics like you do, because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. The irony for someone like you, or the ridiculousness of someone like you, to question how Jasmine Crockett speaks to the President of the United States of America when the President of the United States of America speaks terribly to everyone, and you're calling her out and not him, man, shut your goofy ass up, because you do not know what you're talking about. And what I really find funny about how you behave and how you act is, you know who to play with, right? You know who to talk crazy to and in front of. And this is a pattern, and I'm gonna just say this about Stephen A. Smith, and I'm keep it real. If you ever notice, Stephen A. Smith will never say these things in front of the person that he has to say them about. So he will not sit in front of Jasmine Crockett and say that she would eat your ass up. You will not sit in front of Kamala Harris and say what you said to her. She will eat your ass up. You will never say what you said about Alexis Ohanian's wife, Serena Williams, in his face, because Alexis Ohanian would eat your ass up. And then also, you will never have these things to say to politically astute black men that would eat your ass up. Like me, for starters, and I'm at the bottom of the totem pole, but Bakari Sellers, you won't say that to him. You're not going to say stuff like that. I'll let you comment, but I'm not done talking, but go ahead.
No, it's disappointing. And what makes it super disappointing is Stephen A. Smith started out as a real journalist.
Yes.
Went to Winston-Salem, worked for the Philadelphia Inquirer. Like, he was a journalist and a columnist.
And a good one.
And it's just sad to see You know, he's a classic somebody got bought. You know,
Well, I'll say
he liked
this.
the money and he sold out.
I don't have a problem with. I think Stephen A. Smith became Skip Bayless, right? He became the villain because it's like you can't. Everybody, being the villain creates like a lot more conflict. When we talk about all the time, being the villain puts you in the position, especially a paid villain. Especially you got $100 million contract from ESPN, but the fact that he told Bakari Sellers to sit your ass down and I'm giving you platform because people don't want to hear you talk. People want to hear him talk about politics more than they want to hear him talk about politics. No, you are not a person that has lived the black experience in the way that the people that you're talking about have, because they put their lives on the line. You know, Kamala Harris, Jasmine Crockett get death threats. They get harassed all the time. You talk about sports, my guy. You're entering that area where, you know, when people get a lot of money and they feel like they untouchable.
Oh, yeah.
And forget that they black. And we've seen it time and time again. Stephen A. Smith, I want you to remember you are a black man. So all this shit that you're talking to black people and the way that you're speaking about black people and black men and black women in the black community and all these other things, remember that when you find out that your ass is black, because it happens to everybody. Everybody that acts like they not black and they got they platform, which your platform is built on Disney's platform and ABC's platform and SiriusXM's platform, you don't have a platform. Joe Budden has a platform. The people that build their platforms independent of major networks, you don't have a platform. ESPN is lending you their platform. They're letting you talk on First Take because you're really good at talking about sports. But don't act like you the one out here that's about to run politics and tell people what they need to be doing.
Man, you are 100% right. Look at, you know, we often look to him as the blueprint, but look at Roland did.
Yes.
When it was
Roland
all
Martin
said and
has
done,
a platform. You don't have no platform.
when it was all said and done, Roland packed his show up. He said, you know what? I'm taking it to the streets. And look at Don Lemon. Don Lemon and me has done some of his best reporting in these last few months than he's done ever in his career.
Absolutely.
Like just as a result.
But it's also being able to tell the stories in the way that you tell them. Stephen A. Smith would never be able to get up there. I'm going to tell you this, how I know this. Stephen A. Smith would never be able to get up on national television and defend black culture and black people in a way that Roland does, or Joy Reid does, or Don Lemon does, or Jasmine Crockett does. You would never be able to do that on SiriusXM or ESPN. You wouldn't do that. If you could, you would. Or you don't want to because you're getting paid not to do it.
100%. Remember what Stephen A. Smith said? He said he gets value out of giving his bosses value, which is true. But like when you look at who he works for,
yeah, but at the expense of black people,
exactly.
At the expense of like at the expense of your community. I'm still blown away that this man is worried about the way that Jasmine Crockett speaks to Donald Trump when the way that Donald Trump speaks to everybody. That's crazy. You're trying to tone police a black woman against a racist. So Stephen A. Smith, one more time. You're telling me that you're trying to tone police a black woman against a racist president. Look in the mirror and think about that. But we already, again, I know we already know what you're doing it for, but I just think it's corny. And remember, you said the things that you said, because I promise you, it's not a time that people like you think that you can't get canceled. And you can't if they will cancel Jimmy Kimmel, they will throw your black ass out in a heartbeat. They will fabricate some sort of story about you. They will find to get your ass off the air. And then what you gonna do? Try to come back to the black community and act like we need you and you need us and we need to save your black ass. And that ain't gonna be what it is.
Man, it's a different set of circumstances. Look what they did to Shannon.
I said this before. Yeah. I feel like black men that have built their wealth on systems of white supremacy forget that they're black.
Everybody, listen, you said this to me when I first met you, right? And we were actually talking about P. Diddy at the time, and this is a full circle that years later, you said there would be a time where he will reap what he sowed, and he will be left in the dust and remember that he's black.
Oh yeah, and that's what happens.
And that's what happened.
Why are we having Stephen A. Smith on a Newsmax panel about politics with Chris Cuomo? Like, why is he there? Like, what do you know? Like, who? Like, okay, let's ask it again. Let's ask Stephen A. Smith a few questions before we even listen to him. In the last 4 elections, who did you vote for? Right? So when it was Trump, Hillary, when it was Biden, Trump, or when it was Trump, Kamala. Let's just take those 3 then. All I care about is those 3. Who did you vote for, dog? Like, if you say like, regardless of whether you're a Democrat or Republican, who did you vote for? That's what you want. So let's start there first, because we need to see where your head at, right? And then if you really know politics, and again, this is where I get on the Atlanta shit. I'm gonna tell you who you get smoked by. I'm gonna tell you the list of people that you will never sit in front of, because what I say he always does all the time is he says those things from a microphone, but not in the in-person place. Roland Martin will smoke you. Jasmine Crockett will smoke you. Don Lemon will smoke you. Bakari Sellers will smoke you. I will smoke you. Killer Mike will smoke you. You get smoked. You're not gonna get around black men that politically understand where they fit, where they understand black men and black women understand their place in the world, and know better than them. So I had to say it, because I'm just like, I've been seeing it online and it's been rubbing me the wrong way. And I understand what you're doing. Again, he's being contrarian, but remember you said all this bullshit that you said because it happens to everybody. There's not everybody that don't get pressed at one time or another, something. So when you out here right now talking slick, just remember you said that shit.
So we're over time.
Yeah.
One more time. Why are we here?
We're here to raise money for Fanbase and our $17 million Regulation 8 crowdfund. You can go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock of Fanbase and $665 a share. Ownership is important. We're verifying everybody in one way or another that is invested in Fanbase in any round. Definitely look out for your verification badges in doing so. This raise closes December 17th. Shout out to everybody that joined Investathon. We really didn't recap Investathon because we actually took a week off because we were posting and doing things about Investathon. But shout out to everybody that joined us at Investathon, and how important ownership matters, and all the people that joined us, like Don Lemon and Jasmine Crockett and Jamal Bryant and Van Lathan, all those individuals. Van is another person that will smoke you, by the way, Stephen A. Smith. But shout out to everybody that did, and we want you to continue to support and invest in Fanbase. And I guess we'll see you next week on the next episode of Invested, right?
Right. You know what? Actually, I want to put one more shout out in there.
Okay.
To Arthur Blank for giving $50 million to HBCUs, specifically the AUC. That's commendable. And I know my man Danny Troy was one of the leads on that one. So congrats to you, Arthur Blank. Y'all did your shit.
Bezos give? She gave McKinsey.
She gave a dumb. She gave it to Thurgood Marshall, UNCF. She gave, I want to say $75 million.
Yeah, like $75 million.
Fact check.
Hey, man, somebody give me Mackenzie Bezos' phone number, because she should invest in Fanbase then. So at the end of the day. But anyway, we'll see you guys next week on another episode of Invested. All right? Holla at you.